and how that directly relates to Social Security benefits and just our money, our finances in general. So that's number one. Number two, I also want to discuss Social Security and the emergency adjustment and what this is, as well as what they're going to be doing and how this is going to impact millions of beneficiaries, as well as in just 10 days. 10 days from right now, a lot of this is going to start, okay? So I just want to point that out for you really quickly so we can all be on the same page here, so we can understand what this is, what it means for all of us, and just what details you need to know about this, okay? A lot of things are still changing, even though it feels like, it's kind of a slow time right now. No. Still a lot of different things that are changing right now, okay? All right, anyway, so let's go in chronological order, consistent with the title of the video here. I'll talk through what I want to share with you, and then we'll just go through the details, okay? Okay, so first off, number one, tomorrow morning. Let's talk about what's happening tomorrow morning and what we need to know about this. Okay, now here we are in the middle of July, right? Okay, obviously you know that, but here's the deal. Tomorrow morning, we're getting the next inflation report. Now, just hang with me here for a second, because you might think at first, like, I don't care about this. This is actually very important. This will be the last report that we receive before we start getting into the next three reports that come out to determine how much of a raise we're going to be seeing. Now, a lot of the details that are coming out now are suggesting that this next report, as in tomorrow morning, bright and early, 8:30 a.m. East Coast time is when this report is released. This is the CPI, otherwise known as the Consumer Price Index or the inflation report. Remember this much, though. It's not the headline number that we care about. It's the number that's buried within the report, which is the CPIW, which is the Consumer Price Index for urban wage earners and clerical workers. That's the one we want to watch. Anyway, long story short, why do we care? Here's the details. Obviously, we know that months ago, there were tariffs that were applied, right? Now, recently, just over the last, 2 weeks or so, we've seen the president coming out announcing many more tariffs that are being applied, like over the weekend, 30% on Mexico and the EU, the European Union, as well as potentially 100% of additional tariffs on Russia that the president basically floated today alone. And then the last, week and a half or 2 weeks or so, the president's been talking about many other tariffs across the board on multiple different countries. But what this all means is that this is ultimately translating into higher prices for us, right? We know this. I mean, they continue to say, oh no, it's a price increase, it's a tax, it's a tariff on the importers, the manufacturers, things like this, right? No, it's on us. We're the ones that are going to pay for it. The consumers, the end consumer. That's you and me and everybody else out there. Anyway, this all gets reflected in the inflation reports. And this is exactly why the Federal Reserve has been holding interest rates very high, is because they anticipate high inflation, a spike in inflation at some point here in the second half of the year. Anyway, what I mean by this is that this is the report that's coming out tomorrow morning, okay? It's going to be very important to see. Do we start to see that uptick? Do we start to see that spike in inflation? If we do, we can probably anticipate what we're likely going to see more follow through with in the coming months here, during this very critical time, July, August, and September, which will ultimately translate into a raise to our monthly benefit. So I just want to throw this out there. The inflation report we get tomorrow will not be one of the official data points. Even though we are here in the middle of July, you'd think, wait, isn't this one of the official data points? This one is not, because this is June's inflation data. But rather, about a month from now, in the middle of August, that is when we will see July's inflation data. So for everything that's happening right now with prices, the inflation data will be released for July in the middle of August. And that one will count in a huge, huge way. That'll be a very important one. But why do we care about the report for tomorrow? We care about it because this is going to show us a little bit more of the trend, the trajectory, where is inflation going as of now. So if we see it start to tick up and spike in this report that's released tomorrow, we can anticipate the follow through is likely going to be even higher in a month from now when we get July's report. Does that make sense? Okay, so it's important. You might not really care about all that, like the intricate details of the inflation report, and that's okay. If you don't care about it, that's totally fine. All you need to know is that what's happening with prices, right? That's all we really need to know is what's happening, and we will get that data tomorrow morning. It's gonna be interesting. I'll dig through the report for you, and I'll bring you any findings on that when we find it, or when I go through it tomorrow. Okay, so that's gonna be very important. Okay, so that's number one. That's number one. Next, let's talk about the Social Security emergency adjustment as well, because this was announced what is today? Or July, middle of July here. So June, this was announced like nearly 3 months ago. At the end of April, this was announced. Within Social Security, they circulated this emergency memo. Well, here's the details about this. This is still out there. It's kind of been flying under the radar. A lot of people aren't taking this into consideration, but it goes into effect literally in 10 days. It starts going into effect in 10 days. And this will ultimately, over time, impact millions and millions of beneficiaries in a massive way. In fact, let me tell you some statistics here really quickly, because this is fascinating and it's almost like who dropped the ball here. This is a very staggering numbers. Okay, between the years of 2015 and 2022, Social Security sent out $72 billion, not million, billion dollars of overpayments to beneficiaries. Do they just let that fly and say, we don't care, we're not going to get that money back? No, they get that money back, and they do anything they can within their power to get that money back, and that includes garnishing benefits. It includes intercepting wages, intercepting federal tax returns. I mean, they're nasty, right? They are nasty. In fact, did you see my video from yesterday? I was giving an example. I popped up an article on the screen yesterday in a video yesterday afternoon. There was a lady, her name was Ruth, that was highlighted in that article, and it was a huge amount of money. I don't remember the exact dollar amount off the top of my head here, but I mean, it was a huge amount of money. Her husband unfortunately passed, and they came after her for all that money. She didn't know about it, had no idea. Well, they're attacking her and they're taking all of her money. It's nasty. Anyway, if you want to see that video, I posted it yesterday afternoon. It's a bad situation. So I saw a number of comments coming out feeling like super bad for this woman, but this is a common thing. This happens a lot to a lot of people, the overpayments, and then Social Security comes in and they literally just like ruin lives of seniors, people with disabilities. They like destroy people financially because they're trying to scrape together a couple dollars because they're so hard up for cash. It's pathetic, but they're doing this. Okay. Anyway, I'm not trying to get too sidetracked here, but this is coming in. Okay. So I just want to point out the new details on this. Okay. Remember this much. I covered this extensively earlier in the year as well. Back on March 7th of this year, they announced the reinstatement of 100% garnishments. And then that was supposed to go into effect at the end of March. Okay. Remember all this? And then by the way, prior to the reinstatement of the 100% garnishment, it was at 10%. It was at 10% from last March until this March. It was at 10%. Not bad. Not bad. A 10% garnishment. It's not good, but it's certainly something that, you know, it's way better than it is now. Okay. Anyway, and then they rolled out the 100% garnishment for about 4.5 weeks or so. About 4.5 weeks or so, give or take a little. And then on April 25th, they circulated an emergency memo within Social Security. I talked about this at the time as well. As soon as we got that information that was leaked out of Social Security, they circulated this memo that said, hey, psst, guys, we're not going to garnish 100% anymore, but rather we're going to garnish 50%. So they're doing that, the 50% garnishment. Okay, now here's the deal. That hasn't necessarily gone into effect yet. It was announced as in that emergency memo circulated through Social Security on April 25th. Okay, in that emergency memo, I brought you the details of that. I had a video back then. What was that? Almost 3 months ago now. I put it up on the screen for you. You could have seen all that. If the video's still out there, if you still want to see it, you scroll back about 3 months ago and you'll find the video. In fact, I think I have a couple talking about it and showing that article and the details. But anyway, what they stated there in that emergency memo is in 90 days after that, if people did not have come together on an appeal, if they were not granted some type of reduced garnishment, or if they did not repay the money, Social Security would automatically come back after 90 days and start garnishing those overpayments, as in garnishing the benefit checks, to basically get that money back, to claw back, to collect that money. That's the word I'm looking for. To collect that money from beneficiaries 90 days afterward. Guess what? That 90 days comes due in literally 10 days from now. Literally just 10 days from now, that 90-day time frame will be up. So starting in 10 days from now, July 24th, will be the 90-day time frame in which that new 50% garnishment basically goes into effect for anybody that was informed on or after April 25th of this year. So, April 25th of this year, that 50% will then start automatically basically cutting benefits by 50% for any of those people that have not, again, I repeat, have not come together on an appeal for their overpayment, have not reduced the amount in which that their benefits will be garnished, have not paid the money back. If they've done nothing, if the person has taken zero action, they will automatically see their benefits cut by 50%. That's nasty, right? That's really, really nasty. And a lot of people, unfortunately, that are in this situation, I think are going to be blindsided by this and not aware that this is going to happen. Now, I also want to point out really quickly, is this going to happen to everybody? No, not a chance. It's not even close to everybody. It's a small percentage of beneficiaries, but the individuals that are going to be impacted by this should very well know that this is coming, or at least that they've been notified by Social Security that this is going to be happening. Okay, so just want you to be aware of this. I'm not here to scare anybody. I'm here to tell you what the situation is so we can all be aware and on the same page. Now, I'm anticipating down below in the chat, there's probably some questions coming in right now, and I want to clarify this for you really quickly. Remember this, anybody who was informed of an overpayment prior to March 27th of this year, okay, key date, if you were notified of a overpayment prior to March 27th of this year, you are locked in at 10%. You are still locked in at 10%. And you're locked in, you're good at 10%. Okay. So that's kind of the silver lining here, is that if you were informed, again, I know I said this a couple times, I'm going to say it again, just so that there's full clarification here. If you were informed of an overpayment prior to March 27th of this year from Social Security, you're still locked in at 10%. Okay. So let's just say that you were notified on, I don't know, March 1st or February 27th or January 12th, I don't know, anytime before basically the end of March, you still are at that 10% garnishment. That's good. You, you dodged a nasty situation here, right? So that's all I'm trying to say. Now, one more thing as well. I know that there's going to be people asking this, and I want to clarify this for you really quickly as well. What about SSI? What about SSI? No matter what, you could have been informed of an overpayment last year. You could have been informed of an overpayment in April. You could have been informed of an overpayment yesterday on SSI. Doesn't matter. You're locked in at 10% no matter what as an SSI beneficiary, but not to be mistaken with SSDI. Very different benefits, even though they're kind of similar, they're also very, very different. But just SSI, supplemental security income, you're locked in at 10% no matter when you're informed. Everybody else out there, retirement, disability, SSDI, survivors, spousal beneficiaries, you are the ones that have to worry about this if you have been overpaid and if you were notified of an overpayment basically April 25th or after, then you got to be aware of this rolling 90-day time frame that starts literally in 10 days from now is when that 50% garnishment will start going into effect. Does that make sense? Okay, so that's what that's all about. All right. Anyway, that's what I wanted to share with you. So we've got a lot of things happening here. Obviously, it's just a busy time right now. Still a very busy time. Even though summer is kind of like, it's kind of a slower time, not big announcements. No, this year it's been like relentless, basically nonstop. This whole year with all kinds of different announcements coming out around Social Security, all kinds of different things happening. And this is just kind of one of the latest ones that I just want you to be aware of, okay? A lot of things are still changing. A lot of things are still happening right here, right now, okay? Anyway, just want to clarify that for you really quickly. This is what I want to share with you here in this live stream. Yes, okay. By the way, I'm gonna have my wife come in here in just a minute and help me with this live stream here because I have to do things a little bit differently these days. But anyway, just they change the platform every so often. It's not accessible for me with the blind person stuff. So anyway, one more thing I want to throw out there really quickly. I've been seeing some of the comments rolling in on my video from this morning. I get it. Some people bashing me. I get it. It's fine. Okay. Here's the deal. I get questions about the $200 raise and stimulus checks literally daily. Read through the comment section literally on any video. You're going to see those comments rolling in on live streams, literally on live streams. I would not be shocked at all on this live stream right here if there are comments down below asking about the $200 raise and stimulus checks. Seriously, I get questions about this all the time. So as you noticed in the video from this morning, I was talking about those two independently. Plus, I was talking about the potential possibility of getting them simultaneously, as well as anything in regards to, hey, could these possibly happen? Are they currently happening? Where do we currently stand with them? And I was just giving you the latest update as far as where we're currently standing on all those right now and where we're currently at. Is that going to make sense? So that's all that's about. I'm not saying like, oh, watch your bank account tomorrow. It's not coming. I'm not saying that whatsoever. I'm literally making a video as requested from those of you here in the community wondering where we are currently at. And that's what that video is all about. Anyway, check it out if you want. And otherwise, please have a nice day. Corey's here to help me, I believe.
Hi.
And yeah, enjoy. Again, call the team of advisors for your help with your Medicare if you've not done so yet. Totally free. Banners here on the screen. Phone number, call them. Totally free. About 3,000 of you are saving a ton of money, getting that free review. Call them if you have not done so. They're saving a ton of you a lot of money, getting better coverages, better plans. And leave me a comment after you do. Use the word chapter, and I will find that, and I will give you a shout out and feature you in an upcoming video. All right. Anyway, enjoy your day, and I'll catch you again later. Thanks for watching.